Simon Sinek said that a leader's responsibility is creating the right environment, a growth environment. You know, when people are supporting one another, encouraging one another, and helping one another be accountable to be their best, it's an inspiring environment. And so creating that community experience of support, encouragement, and accountability, you can develop that meaningful experience where people actually look forward to going to work because they know that that you have an important mission, that they're becoming a better person by working with you, and they understand the difference that you make, that they are making, that you're all making. It doesn't matter whether you're building a website, whether you're doing filing. If you have a great purpose and a great mission and great values that everybody is inspired by, you're making a difference. And that's what you need to communicate to your team. And then we need a system. We need a system of attracting people. We need a system of hiring people. We need a system of coaching people, which is what we're going to talk about today. You need a system of promoting people. You need a system of compensating people, and all those things that are on your leadership assessment. Okay, so today I want to talk about how to coach and delegate without drama. It all starts with getting the right people on the right. It all starts with getting the right people on that bus. Okay. Because if you hire the wrong people, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what kind of systems you have. It doesn't matter how good you are as a coach. It doesn't matter. Because the wrong people don't want to do it right. They want a place where they can do their own thing. And that's not what we want. We want people to perform. All right? So get the right people on the bus. Who are the right people? The ideal team player, according to Partridge Lencioni, is someone who's humble, hungry, and smart. They're humble. They don't have a big ego, but they are hungry. They want to win, and they want to win for the company. And they're smart, and smart means EQ, not IQ. Emotional intelligence. They're aware of how they're feeling. They're aware of how other people are feeling. They can pick up on body language. They can pick up on how people are feeling, and that way they can engage with other team members and clients and vendors and prospects and so on and so forth. So they're humble, hungry, and smart. That's the ideal team player. But then each person on your team has a specific communication style. And by the way, each one of the seats on your bus, this is my bus, each seat on that bus requires a different disc profile. For example, do you want to take a high I who loves to be with people and put them in an office with a closed door where they don't see anybody ever? They don't get to talk to anybody? They'll be dead in a week, or at least stressed out. Do you want to take a high C and say, okay, I want you to go out and meet strangers and introduce yourself and get everybody all, pumped up? I got a few questions for you. Do you have good systems? Do you have systems that they can be successful with? You got to make it easy for them to win, easy for them to perform. Simple systems. Last week, we talked about communication tools. Have you developed your MVP? Do they really understand the org chart and what's going on in the company, especially their role? Do they have a PRD? That's a performance results description. Do you have policies and procedures in place where they know what the values are and they know how to act? They know what the protocol is here, and they know what they're supposed to do. They know the play. They know how to perform. They know what to do if this happens or that happens. Now listen, These don't have to be perfect before you can coach someone. In fact, if you have the right people on your team, they can help you develop these. My team has developed a lot of my stuff because they're working in that environment. They're on the front line. They know what's going on. I'm a little more removed from the day-to-day. How are you going to coach someone if they don't really even know what to do or why we do things this way? Okay. This is why you also have to train. You want to train people and let them practice until they can't get it wrong. There's a very simple training process called tell, show, watch. Most business owners are really good at telling people what to do. Go out there, make me proud, do this, make me proud, make me happy. But they don't really have a way to, document it. So you tell them what to do, then you show them how to do it. But usually what happens is you show somebody how to do something once or twice, you let them go, or worse, someone else shows them what to do, and you end up with a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. But most business owners never do the third part, which is watch them do it and coach them as they're doing it until they can't get it wrong. Simple questions. Now, I'm going to talk mostly about coaching, not delegating today. But when you delegate something, try not to take it back. First of all, don't give something to someone, you know that they're going to fail. That's just mean, okay? It's not right. But if you delegate something to someone that can accomplish this, what happens a lot of times is they hit a roadblock. And then you go, because you're busy, I'll just do it myself. Don't do that. Instead, say, how can I help you? I didn't say, how can I do it for you? How can I help you get it done? This book, The Game of Work, How to Enjoy Work as Much as Play, it was written by Charles Coonrod. And he was a consultant, and he told a story in this book how he was consulting this company, went out to this company, and they build, they fabricate like little small buildings, I guess, I don't know, like barns or whatever. They have a warehouse where they pre-make everything and then they ship it out. And they're up on the bridge, they're looking down on the factory floor, and the guys down there building the buildings, putting stuff together, working on the factory floor, were moving like, as he called it, snails in cement. And he points down there and he looks at Chuck and he says, what are you going to do about that? And literally, he was saved by the bell, because the lunch bell rang and every single one of those guys who were moping around took off running, throwing their shirts off, because there was a basketball court down there at the other end of the warehouse, and they played the most unbelievable game of basketball that you've ever seen in your life. Just like the energy that they put into it, and they were just like all in. And that's when he got his epiphany that you got to make a game out of work. And it's all about the game of work. The great game of business, get in the game. It's all about making it a game, right? And so one of the things I learned from Chuck is that there are 3 types of management. Number 1, is observational based management. A lot of us just really suffer from this, okay? You're just observing behavior. You're observing what people are doing, and you're basing everything on what you see without asking any questions. For example, he said there was a sales manager, sales are down. He's been out trying to make sales all day. He comes in the office and there's two salespeople are, just kicking back, talking to each other. He passes by the office on the way to the restroom, says, "Would y'all get to work?" Goes to the restroom. He comes back and they're still sitting there chatting. He's like, "Are y'all gonna get to work here?" And then he found out that they were talking about this huge sale that they just made that put them way over their sales goal. How do you think he felt about that? Anybody else ever made that mistake? I got both of my hands up. I surrender. We also have to understand that what I'm talking to you about today is coaching someone when they miss the mark. And it's not fun when people don't win. Because maybe you're like me, I hadn't created the right open culture. It was command and control. It wasn't a coaching type of culture like you're learning here. Then there's conflict when you have to coach somebody, right? There's this tension. And of course, psychologists have also always taught that when there's a conflict, everybody's learned, including you, by the way, you've developed your own way of dealing with conflict over a lifetime. You just, whatever your culture you were born in. For example, they call it fight, flight, or freeze. And for example, what I learned when I married Denise is that my style of dealing with conflict is I just go quiet. I've had several people recently kind of do me wrong, and my son is like, have you always been this way? Like, I'm not gonna jump out there and start, getting into it with people. Make your own bed, okay? Well, what I didn't understand is that Denise is a fighter. So as soon as there's a conflict, man, the lips start going, the hands start going, and she's going and going and going and going, and I'm like, and what's worse is when you don't fight back, they're really insulted. Italians, at least my wife. Because when they go silent, buddy, you better go ahead and, put your palate out there in that doghouse, because when an Italian goes quiet, you have crossed the line. So what I do, I had to learn how to fight a little bit. Push back, make your point, buddy. And my brain just doesn't fire as quickly as Denise Partridge. I'm sorry, it just, And so I decided that since, by the way, many times, okay, I didn't say this, but many times her arguments are illogical. Okay, like, we're arguing about this. She'll bring something up I'm like, that's not what we're talking about. Illogical. So what I decided to do, what I found that works, is I'll just make a joke, make light of it, and we have good banter, and we really don't fight as a result. Now, this is very interesting. I'm reading a book right now. See, what's the name of it? It's about body language. It's by an ex-FBI agent. I think it's What Your Body Is Saying, Joe Navarro. It's fascinating. I'm just barely into it, so I'm not any good at it yet. But if you notice me looking at you a little bit more intently when you see me, you'll know why, because I'm watching your expressions, I'm watching your gestures, I'm watching your body language, right? You want to know a couple things I've learned so far? You can tell more about people from their feet than anything else. Isn't that crazy? Another thing that I learned from this is, I was just reading this yesterday, or maybe the day before. He said it's not fight, flight, or freeze. He said our instinct, and the same is true from animals, first we freeze. First we freeze. Then, if necessary, we might have to fight. And then we flight. So it's really freeze, fight, flight. But that doesn't flow as good. So we'll stay with fight, flight, and freeze, or freeze. And so we have to avoid that by creating an environment where everybody understands that we work on this together. We don't need to have this kind of conflict, but it is also important to understand our own, our own fight, flight, or freeze methodology or instincts, and what other people's are too, so that we can better understand, we can better communicate, we can better connect.